Ladies and gentlemen, a Scientologist has hit the Forbes Billionaires List, and spoiler alert, it's not Grant Cardone. Mainly because Grant Cardone isn't a real billionaire. He's a fake billionaire. Grant Cardone is a high-level super Scientologist and a fake billionaire, but Scientology does have one billionaire, and only one billionaire, and his name is Bob Duggan. And this is not the first year he's made it on the Forbes list, but I think it's the first year I'm doing a video about it. Bob's worth close to $4 billion. He's donated well over $350 million to Scientology. He is the single largest contributor to Scientology. There had been some speculation, even from me, that when he divorced his wife, Trish Duggan, that perhaps Bob was leaving Scientology and Trish was staying in Scientology. It is still not crystal clear whether Bob is still in Scientology. Trish, his ex-wife, is the one who goes up on awards, goes up on stage and gets the awards from David Miscavige. Bob has not been cited at a Scientology event since the divorce. He's not been given any new statues or awards or trophies from David Miscavige since the divorce. I think Bob is one of these guys who, in my opinion, if he were to leave Scientology, he still wouldn't say it. If you were to call him and ask him if he was a Scientologist, he would say that he was, because it would create too many problems to say that he's not. But anyway, let's just get into this. This is just going to be a short little special interest video. 7 Tampa Bay residents included on the Forbes list of billionaires. Okay, and it says right here in this on the middle of the screen here, following Wanek, I don't know how to say Ronald Wanek's last name. Following Wanek is Robert Duggan, ranked 809 with a net worth of $3.9 billion. Bob Duggan, described by Forbes as a serial entrepreneur, led the sale of biotech firm pharmaceuticals to AbbVie. I never know if I'm saying these correctly, guys. AbbVie to AbbVie. I think it's AbbVie. I don't know, guys. AbbVie led the sale of biotech firm pharmaceuticals to AbbVie for $21 billion in cash and stock back in 2015. Oh, the irony that the world's richest Scientologist made his fortune in the pharmaceutical industry. That Bob's company was acquired by a company that makes psych drugs. This is irony that seems to be lost on all Scientologists and David Miscavige. Let's say they have a financial incentive not to see the irony because they need that dirty, dirty money. I guess Bob's money isn't dirty, but once he gives it to Scientology, it becomes dirty. Okay, so let's take a look at Bob Duggan. Let's just take a look at what Wikipedia has to say about Bob Duggan. And is there any mention of Scientology? There is, by the way. Okay, Bob Duggan. American billionaire, entrepreneur, philanthropist, biotech exec, healthcare exec, educator, human rights activist. Okay, it talks about pharmaceuticals. We don't really need to get a whole life history lesson here. I was surprised at how little Scientology factors into this, even under the philanthropy section. Let's go down to it. Okay, well, let's look at pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals is a pharmaceutical company primarily focused on the development of cancer therapies. From 2008 to 2015, Duggan was the largest investor as well as chairman and CEO. The company then focused its research on, I'm not going to be able to say this right, ibrutinib, Jesus, ibrutinib. Wow, drugs have the craziest names. The company then focused its research on ibrutinib, a B-cell cancer drug highly effective for treating chronic lymphocytic leukemia, the most common form of adult leukemia. Okay, that's fine. We don't need an entire lesson on the company. But Duggan invested in pharmaceuticals when it was valued between $1 and $3 per share and negotiated its sale at $261.25 per share. Wow. He received $3.5 billion from the sale in one of the biggest paydays ever. One of the biggest paydays ever from the buyout of a publicly held company. Wow. As CEO and chairman of pharmaceuticals from 2008 to 2015, Duggan had opted not to receive compensation from the company. All right. Guess he had a lot of confidence that the company would get bought out. Can't fault him for that. Okay, let's see. I remember let's see what it says about philanthropy. See, now when you want to talk about philanthropy, why don't they mention Scientology in the philanthropy section? After all, if you ask Bob Duggan, Scientology is the only game where everyone wins, and it's the only effectable technology to cure the ills of all mankind. Anyway, Duggan is on the board of the trustees at UCSB. Okay, I guess that's University of California, Santa Barbara, right? Am I right? And has funded educational endeavors such as athletic departments, the UC Santa Barbara Gold Circle Society, and 2 faculty chair positions. He's made foundational donations to new departments, such as the Institute for Energy Efficiency. Okay. And the 14th Dalai Lama Chair in Tibetan Buddhism and Cultural Studies. All right, good stuff, I guess. Duggan contributed over $800,000 to Donald Trump's 2020 campaign. All right. I mean, I think his wife just donated like $5 million to Trump's legal fund, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my God, he received the Congressional Medal of Merit from Ron Paul. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to say Medal of Honor. All right. Okay. Personal life. Bob Duggan was married to Trish Haggerty, whom he met when they were both students at UCSB. Wow, I didn't know they were married for that long. They divorced in 2017. They have 8 children. Guys, one of the things Serge Del Mar has discussed on his channel is that when Serge left the Sea Org, but was still in Scientology and was respected as a well-trained and highly experienced auditor, how Serge, someone's trying to call me. Let me cancel that. One of the assignments that Serge was given was to be assigned to actually audit Bob Duggan's kids. When you hear Serge talk about how he regrets his own personal role in the auditing of children, just like Serge was a victim of receiving auditing as a child. This is one of the things he's referred to. This is one of the things, like, you guys, it's just yet another example of how small the Scientology world is. Everybody knows everyone. Everyone's connected to everyone. Serge Del Mar, and that's because one of Serge's best friends at the time, Jonathan DeKevitt, a Sea Org member, now a public Scientologist, Jonathan DeKevitt's mother, Charmaine Rogers, was one of Scientology's highest producing and most famous Sea Org Scientology fundraisers. Charmaine Rogers was like this with Bob Duggan before she died. So that's when Jonathan DeKevitt and Serge left the Sea Org. It was through Jonathan's mom, Charmaine, that Serge and Jonathan were both essentially assigned to be somewhat caretakers for Bob Duggan's children. So I don't know, interesting little thing there. Okay, it says Duggan and his ex-wife are members of the Church of Scientology. Duggan has been referred to as the church's largest donor. All right, there you go. Guys, I still feel like it's actually up in the air whether Bob Duggan is still officially a Scientologist or not. If he is, why doesn't he go to the events? Why doesn't he get the medals and the awards and go on stage? Why is it just his wife? And I don't know, I'm kind of the mind that as long as someone wants to, I guess, still pretend like they're in Scientology, then let's make them say it. I hope more journalists who interview Bob know this connection to Scientology, know that he is the single largest financier of the international human trafficking cult known as Scientology. No one has given this organization more money than Bob Duggan. As long as that is true, and as long as he is still not saying he's out of Scientology, I think it's only fair that when the media interact with this guy, they try to get him on the record. Are you still a Scientologist? Do you still support Scientology? As long as he's going to pretend to still be in, make him say it. All right, guys, just a short one. Wanted to get this done. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. However, briefly, thank you to everyone who watches until the very end. And let me get it ready here. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.